السلام عليكم جميعا ومساء الخير. Thank you for attending this slot. I can see right now we have 8 attendees. So thank you all for joining. And I hope we can make this session as supportive as possible to you. The purpose of this session is to give you some directions about doing assignment 1. There will be a similar session hopefully by next week to go over the second assignment. For now, we will focus on the first assignment. You have an option to send questions to me anytime you want, so please feel free to communicate your question anytime. I will jump to slide number 2 to speak a bit about myself. So I'm from Lebanon, and I hold a master in computer engineering. I have also an MBA from University of Leicester. I'm currently finalizing my DBA, the Doctorate of Business Administration. So this is in progress. In fact, I just submitted my dissertation last week for the board, the final approval board. I'm waiting for their approval to on my work. Okay, one second. Okay, I'm going to continue like this because this is, you know, I have 2 screens, so I'll keep it in this mode because unfortunately, when I go to 2 screens, it will switch to the other one. So let's continue like this. So I've been teaching in the region for some time. I've had the nice, let's say, pleasure to teach with University of Leicester and Worcester in the past. I've delivered some courses in marketing, strategy, business information. I'm currently teaching with Geneva Business School, some marketing courses, and with University of Northampton in Dubai. I'm delivering the leadership global context. In terms of experience, I have well over 17 years of experience in sales, marketing, and strategy. And I had the very nice chance to work with interesting organizations globally, such as Microsoft in the United States, Cisco, and I'm currently working for Orange Business Services. I'm based in Riyadh actually, and I'm heading the Smart Cities initiative. So as you can see, I'm doing all at the same time. So as I work, and I'm also teaching with universities, and I'm studying with university a doctorate program, which is definitely highly demanding. So it's just about team management. As you know, MBA folks are only about team management. So the more you can manage your time, the more you can master the progress in your studies so that you can finish on time. Jumping on slide number 2, this is some laundry work. You have 2 gateways for this course. Gateways meaning the submittal of assignments. So on 7th of December, you have the submittal for the first assignment, and on 11th of January, the second assignment. So I'm proposing to help you is to work as soon as possible, start working on your draft assignment for assignment number 1, obviously, and you can submit it by Thursday, which is 23rd of November. If you submit that by that day, by 23rd of November, it will be a Thursday. By Friday, you will have my response, giving you enough time to correct your assignment as needed, and in the hope of getting you as much as possible a very let's say an interesting grade. So so my proposal is that on the 23rd of November, I wish you can share with me your first draft. Same thing happened for the second assignment. So by 28th of December, you are kindly welcome to share with me your assignment, the second assignment, just before you go on vacation. So lucky for you, you will go on your Christmas vacation and New Year, but for me, I will stay working for you. So I'm happy to support you in second assignment as well. Before I continue, for the record, I sent an email today to everyone as a broadcast, and I urge you one more time to reach out to your colleagues studying with you. I have shared a large content for this course. I think 1.6 gigabyte or even 1.64 gigabyte, very large material, and during which you will find some sample assignments, which you may let's say review and get some inspiration, but of course you cannot use those assignments. So you could technically review and understand the best practices. I can only promise you that if you review the assignment, you should get a good grade, but not a top grade. So you have to show an added value, an edge that you are trying to present over the sample assignment. So again, I urge you to reach out to your colleagues in the same group. If you face any problems receiving those contents, I'm glad to find a way to upload all those contents to an online sharing space like Dropbox or whatever. So I'm happy to share with you those contents. Okay. So going into a bit more on slide number 4. So any communication with me, please send it to samiryamak@gmail.com. I don't know how to use my Northampton account, so send me to my private email, and obviously the draft correction or draft assignment to be sent to my private email account. You should by now be good at time management, so try to understand that it is not in your advantage to take any extensions because it will just drag and cascade on your other assignments, whether it's this one or the next one. So try to be punctual in your time management so that you can finish on time. Avoid direct quoting. Don't try to, let's say, add a statement as it is from the from articles, from books, and plug it in your assignment. Why? Because you need to show your own strengths in articulating ideas. So you cannot keep, let's say, dropping lines from other sources. You need to show your own strengths. If you submit by Thursday, so I will respond by Friday. I wake up early in the morning and I'm happy to correct your assignment. As per the university regulations, so any assignment submitted after the deadline will be marked as C-, so please avoid that deadline. It's a sharp deadline. And because I've again been getting some questions in this regard, so rest assured, I do not copy your assignment, distribute it, sell it, rent it, do auction on it, forward it on any other activity for your assignment. It will be private between you and me. So I will save your assignment, correct it, and send you back my comments. And obviously, finally, since your deadline is 7th of December, if you submit it at the last few days, there's a chance that I may not find time to correct it. So avoid doing that. Try as much as possible to walk your timeline around those suggested gateways. So 23rd of November, one more time, first assignment draft, and 7th of December. The second of assignment is on 28th of December. I just got a question from my colleague Ali Mahmoud and Ahmed Rahim. So they are both asking about the content. I'm going to send you my private email, which you have seen by now. So please send me a small email by tonight or tomorrow. I will try to send you all a link to upload all the content to a public website, and I'm glad to share it with you. By the way, the slide which I'm presenting to you right now, so that's in response to a question from Ahmad. The slides are part of the content which I wish to share with you. So just send one email. It could be from one person, it could be from all of you. It's okay with me. Whoever, I mean, you're welcome to send me, all of you, one email, but send me an email about this request and I will reply to you as soon as possible. I pray that this could be done by tonight. So by tomorrow, inshallah, I will send you back the full content, the 1.64 gigabyte. It is absolutely important that you receive this content. I will not spend too much time on that point, but very quickly, I'm sharing not just the slides, I'm sharing extra material, sample assignment, I'm sharing hints and tips. I'm also sharing something called bonus folder, which is basically a folder that has extra books on marketing, finance, strategy, whatever. So basically all the wealth of let's say the documents, articles, books which I've collected in my years of study from MBA to DBA. So I'm very glad to share all the content with you. Okay. So this session is devoted on assignment number 1. My understanding is that you have went through the slides. So what I will do is the following. Since we will have another session later on next week for assignment number 2, I will present the following priority. We have 2 hours to complete this session. So I will start right now with the assignment number 1, and because that's obviously your focus. So if you have any question, please feel free to share it. If we can find some time to squeeze at the end of those 2-hour session, I'm glad to come back to the slides, try to pick up some important slides and stop on them, so that you can, if you have any questions, if you would like to ask me, or you could also use the questions panel if you have any question regarding any topic, any concept. I'm glad to share it. But for now, calm down. Let's wait until we do the assignment number 1, because I think there's a chance that you'll get your answers questions. So if by the end of assignment 1 you're still unsatisfied, I'm gladly available to go back and answer any of your questions. Okay. So jumping all the way to assignment number 1. Before we do that, this is my assignment. This is some extra slide which I'm presenting. Let's call that those are some tricks or tips which I would like to share with you, so that you can prepare yourself better for writing MBA assignment. As you know, typically when you have an assignment, the tutor frequently asks you that you need to define concepts. Now, if you ask somebody from the street, what is it for you, the meaning of the word SWOT? So anyone would say SWOT is strengths, weakness, opportunity, and threats. So clearly this is not an MBA answer. Why? Because SWOT is meant something for normal people, but as an MBA person, you should have a better, let's say, approach to respond to this question from an MBA perspective. So I'm proposing this slide, a set of questions that you ask yourself this question, and the answers to all those questions will get you a real MBA response to concepts. So for example, let's read those questions. What is the meaning of SWOT? So then you present this meaning. Who and where do we use SWOT? So then you answer that question. What are the steps, the variances or components of implementing SWOT in a company? What is the added value that SWOT can provide to a company? And what happens after we use SWOT? Okay. So just imagine that all those questions, you have to bring a response to those questions, and when you do, the combined paragraph or answers to all those questions should create an MBA response to concepts. And when I say concept, by the way, I mean anything. So concepts, tools, ideas from MBA. So let's, for example, take a different example. Let's imagine you have a finance assignment and you want to do some activity-based costing. You want to calculate NPV, net present value. So, and then you wish to present NPV. You cannot say NPV is net present value. That's a normal person response to that question. What you should say is the following. What is the meaning of NPV? Who and where do we use NPV? What are the steps of calculating or understanding or implementing NPV? What is the added value that NPV can provide? And what happens after we get a statement showing this NPV? Is this clear so far? So please feel free to ask me, to stop me anytime. And by the way, for the record, the answer to those questions cannot be from your own mind. So you cannot say, oh yeah, I love SWOT, I love NPV. No, obviously you have to bring references and articles which addressed those questions, and then the response, which are, let's say, referenced, could be your answer to this question. So I hope this is clear for now. Okay, again, this is very important. I'd like to highlight here. So it's called defining theories. So this also could mean defining concept or tool. So whenever you want to define any theory or concept or tool, this is how you do it. Okay, in other words, in the assignment later on when we discuss it, if I ask you, you need to define those concepts. When I say define, that's what I mean. So basically you need to present all that. Okay, so moving on to slide number 50. You know, when you get an assignment, you are supposed to focus mainly on the question. And some people make a mistake that they start jumping and answering the question without putting a plan. And putting a plan is very important for you to structure the ideas in your head. it's not good practice from an MBA perspective to guesstimate the past. So it's very important for you as an MBA to have a clear journey of where you want to start, where do you want to end, and what do you want to achieve, and what's the past that take you in this regard. So look at this slide, for example. When you get any question from Northampton, first thing you gotta do is that you have to extract the main theme. Main theme, let me present it quickly in Arabic. الصبغة العامة. So the main theme is what exactly is the assignment is about. What's the main academic or business related concept that this assignment is swimming in? Okay, so imagine that the main theme is sitting there. That's your start point. The next task is find and extract the specific core analysis, which means if this is the main theme, where am I going to achieve at the end of the assignment? So what's the target analysis? What's the target point which I need to reach? Now, why are we doing this? Try to imagine those 2 points. This is the main theme, that's target analysis, and then ask yourself, what is the path that will take me from point A to point B? How can I travel from point A to point B? Now, why do I say all this? Because many students start from one concept and then they travel and go left and right to number of interesting topics, and then they waste a lot of time on unneeded topics, which could unfortunately affect their grades. So it's very important. It's an exercise of 5 minutes. Just try to imagine you have a question. What is my main theme? What is my target analysis? Okay, so that's the journey for my assignment. Now, point number C, it's important to build an outline which will take you as a journey from the main theme to target analysis. As you do so, remember that you need to add as much as possible brief examples. Brief examples again. Why do I say examples? So that your work is a bit wet. It's not dry. It's not very solid. When you add example, it will give you some interesting flavor to your work, that it is nice, and it also adds some credibility to your work. But most importantly, remember on this point, those examples have to be referenced. So you cannot say, yeah, for example, CNN did this, Reuters did that. You cannot say that. You have to bring references that obviously spoke about the same example for that tool. Once you finish all those points, remember this is a very key important topic. It's always the quality and depth of analysis that matters. It's not the quantity. This is an important point. I repeat it. To get you the good grade and support why. Because if you present too many tools and you have a limitation in terms of word count and the time limit. So what happened basically is the following: you present one topic and then let's say you spend 4, 5, 7 tools. You fail to address them all within that time limit, so that people are so that your foundation of literature review becomes weak, which affects all the assignment. Instead of doing that, you could say 1 or ideally 2 ideas, 2 concepts. That's fantastic. As you know, الرأي والرأي الآخر مثل الاتجاه المعاكس. So 2 concepts, 2 ideas. It's fantastic. When you put 2 tools or 2 ideas, 2 concepts, then you balance ideas between those 2 tools. And then when you navigate around tools as much as possible, your work becomes excellent. Why? Because you show you have a depth. Okay, so this is very important. Okay, so this is very important so that you make sure that your work is unique. So again, I repeat one more time. It's not about the quality of arguments, the quality of debates. No, it's the sorry, it's not about the quantity of argument. It's the quality of debates. Is this clear? Please stop me if you have any question. Okay. So moving on to slide number, the next slide, 51. This is a very important slide. I think we probably spent some time on it. Okay. So the following slide, in simple term, is a recipe for getting an A grade in all assignments, in all MBA work, in any assignment, in a dissertation. This is in front of you, the recipe to get an A grade. What I'm promising you, that if you understand this slide correctly and you follow exactly the content, you will get A grade in any assignment, not just in leadership, in any assignment, even in your dissertation. So let's go in more details about this slide. So typically when you get from the university, you get a question and somebody is basically asking a question, define this concept and apply it in a company, argue about this approach, etc. So you look at the question and the first instinct you have in mind, it's okay, let's answer that question. And that's wrong. Why? Because if somebody tells you to what extent you feel that this leader is good, if you say, yes, I love this leader, this is not an MBA answer. Because this is not about displaying if you like this person or not. So in order for you to have an MBA approach to responding to a question, there has to be a foundation, there has to be a journey where you walk in the reader about how to respond to this question. This slide is giving you this journey. So let's look at block number 2, as you can see here. Okay, in this block you define the theories, meaning the following: every concept, every tool, every idea, every academic concept that you wish to use in your assignment, you have to find it, you have to define it in this block. Obviously I'm talking about the core of the assignment. So in that core we have 3 blocks. So every concept that you have in mind, every tool, every let's say idea, this is where you define it. Okay, now when I say define, let me take you back to the previous slide. You saw it here, if you remember, this one. Yeah, this slide basically, this block, sorry, this is where you support the defining concepts. So basically, let's say you have an assignment on leadership. Okay, so what is leadership? You cannot say leadership is a good practice in my company. That's not definition. This section, notice this percentage here and here and here. Now, those are not set in stone and you have to follow them. Suffice to say that those 3 blocks, they carry equal weight. And this is an important remark, because people think they are very smart. So what they do typically, they take this section and they inflate it. So let's say the assignment is 3,000 words. They write 2,000 words definitions, and they think they're smart, but in this case they are not, because best case scenario, this is what you get. Best case scenario, you get the full grade of definition of theory definitions, and that's it. There's nothing more that you can get. Okay, guys, before I continue, again, if you're having any problems in voice, please raise your voice. I'm here to support you, make sure that you understand. If you want me to repeat any section or any block, please just send me a question. Very gladly can repeat that question. Okay, so we continue. So in this block, we define all the concept of the assignment. Now, the next block is applying the knowledge that you just described here. Okay, the word applies simply mean this presentation, as I said to Ahmed, it's not available. It will be available on a public link. So I will, inshallah, expect an email from you and your colleague. Ahmed Ibrahim is asking a question. How can I have this presentation? So as I mentioned earlier, please send me an email tonight. And I just sent you my email. Send me an email tonight, and between tonight and tomorrow, inshallah, I will upload all the content to a public server. And I'll send you the link to download by tonight or tomorrow, so that you can download all the content. Okay, Ahmed? Very good. So moving on to block number 2, applying the knowledge. This is also a very important topic. Before I describe this block, let me give you an example. I think you've seen a concept called BCG matrix, Boston Consulting Growth Matrix, or also known as Growth Share Matrix. In that BCG, yes, Ali is asking this question. So yes, Ali, I acknowledge it's not on the Nile board. It's my own slides, which has all the content from the Nile board, plus some extra content which I've added from my side. So as I mentioned, Ali, please share with me your email by tonight, inshallah, after this session, and I will upload all the content, including this slide, to a public server and share it with you. Okay, Ali? All right. So coming back to my points, if you look at block number 2, we spoke about BCG matrix. In the BCG matrix, if you try to remember quickly about it, you have 4 blocks. You have cash cow, stars, question mark, and dog. Now the dog product, if you have a product in the dog, you are supposed to kill that product. Okay. Now this is what the tool is asking you to do. It doesn't mean the action is correct. It doesn't mean that everything that the tool says is correct. So applying the knowledge means applying the requirement or the request of the tool exactly as it is, without giving your opinion. This is what the block 2 is about, or sorry, block 3. So applying the knowledge is taking what the theory is telling you and applying it on the case as it is, without giving an opinion, without challenging, without giving any challenge or criticism. Okay. So let's say, for the sake of argument, you have an assignment on implementing motivation. Okay. And in this section, defining theory, you have decided that you would like to discuss Maslow hierarchy of needs, and you think Maslow is one of the best tools that could be applicable in your company. Fine. Maslow says in order to have a motivation company, you should show gradually, so from physiological, social, etc., the 5 levels of Maslow. That's great. So in block number 3, you apply the blocks as it is. You don't give your opinion. Before we go block number 4, imagine, look what I've done here. I've said 30%, meaning what? You have to invest 30% of your word count presenting an implementation plan for the concept. Which concept? The ones that you just defined here. Okay. Now, the last block of the core is block number 4, answering the question. Analyzing the concepts used, criticizing its validity. Will I reach the same objective? Is this the best way? Can I look at it differently, etc.? So let's stop on this block. Now, let's go back to the example I mentioned earlier. Somebody is asking a question. To what extent do you believe this leader is the best leader in your organization? Students typically say, yeah, I love this leader. Thank you. We appreciate that, but this is not about sharing your feeling or if you love your leader or not. And that's not an MBA response. First thing you do is you need to present what leadership is about and what are the elements to conclude typically that a leader is good or not. And then in block number 3, you say, according to this tool or to this method is good, based exactly on this matrix or this matrix of requirement. In block number 4, then you give your answer. Do you really believe this is a good guy or a bad guy? Is it possible that he's doing the job that he's supposed to do, but he's not a nice person? All this critical analysis, this reflection, there's different ways at looking at things, you put it in block number 4. Okay? So now, let me ask a question again. If you jump and say, yes, I love this leader, or no, I don't love this leader, what happens? You are playing, unfortunately, at 25%, which obviously you don't want. Yeah? So from that perspective, it is important you respect this order. One more time, don't pay too much attention on 30, 30, and 25. Some assignment could be 25 here, 30 there, or it doesn't matter. But what matters is more or less, in a way, those 3 blocks, they carry equal weight. Obviously, to continue this slide, so introduction is 7%. You present the purpose, the content, the case brief. For example, the purpose, this assignment is to discuss the motivation approach in general and the focus in one organization, which is my company. In this assignment, I'm going to review the theories of motivation and then understand what are the most important trends in the area of motivation. I just concluded the purpose. In this assignment, I will go over presenting the theories, then I will apply the theories as it is on 1 or 2 departments in my company by presenting the full implementation steps, and then finally I will criticize my work to make sure that it makes sense, and then I'll provide my conclusion. That was the content. And then the case brief is applicable. The case meaning the company. The company in question here is my company, which is called XYZ. We are in a business of X, and we have recently faced some problem of demotivation. Notice I'm trying to give a small hint about the problem. We have recently faced some form of demotivation of employees and delay in coming to work and high turnover, etc. Let us understand how to improve things in the next few blocks. So that will be the introduction. That's 7%. The last section is the conclusion. You put the summary of findings. Okay, so what are the findings here? The findings are not the one from here. No, the findings are from block 2, 3, and 4. Meaning what? So in block 2, assuming we're still on that example, which is motivation, in block 2, you presented 3, 4, 5, whatever number of motivation concepts. And then based on the 5, you selected one as the best. This is a finding. This is an achievement that you have done. Okay, I've studied. I'm Ali Mahmoud, and I'm Ahmed Ibrahim. I've studied motivation. I've came across 5, 7, 10, but I think the best one that is applicable in my company is Maslow. That's one finding. And then the finding from applying the knowledge is that based on the above, we have concluded that in the sales department, it is important to apply the following new actions or initiatives to improve motivation. That's the finding from the second block, or block number 3. And then findings from the answer question, listing of untapped angle. This is an important point. Because you are a very smart student, and because we said it's about quality of debates, quality of argument, not the quantity, you are too smart, so then you mention here in the conclusion the following. It should be noted that there are other motivation angles that needs to be explored. However, due to word and time limit, I was unable to cover those angles. Also, it should be well noted that motivation is seen differently from a cultural perspective. So one needs to study motivation and compare that with the cultural implication, which was also not addressed in that assignment due to word and time limit. So notice what I'm trying to do here. You are acknowledging that there are angles which are untapped, and you are presenting why, basically because, well, obviously due to word and time limit, but you're giving an indication to the tutor that I'm aware about all these angles, but based on where we are today, based on this concept, on this requirement, so we are here because this is what I could cover, and based on that, this is the angle which I covered, and those are the angles which I didn't cover. And finally, you put your recommendation. So this assignment could be improved by doing this, etc. Okay. I hope you enjoyed the slides. I'd like to go back one more time to block number 4 before we progress on. So again, coming back to motivation. Let's say that you mentioned in your assignment that let's say the assignment is about motivation, and you spoke about Maslow. And you said that if I implement Maslow in the same progression or the same journey, then my employees are going to be motivated. Fantastic. When you reach that section, you are not supposed to criticize the concepts. Why? Any criticism of the concept happens here. I'll repeat. This section, we said that this is about defining theories. Guess what? It's all about criticizing theories. So if somebody would like to criticize Maslow, this is what he does it here. So this block has block number 4. So we said that Maslow could be applicable to my company. And then in block 4, we criticize this statement. Is this really true? Can I achieve motivation using different approach? Can my employees be motivated from different angles? Is there any hope for motivation for my own employees? So all these questions, all these critical analysis, you answer them in here, block number 4. Okay. Okay, I hope you don't have any questions or remarks, because this is a very important slide. Okay, so let me remove that because we don't need now. Okay, so now we go on to deciding assignment number 1, or discussing it a bit more. All right. So so obviously you have 2 assignments. Okay, Abdullah, thank you very much. Abdullah is asking block number 4 one more time. Coming back to here. That's fine, Abdullah. I'm glad to repeat again. So block number 4, as I said, this is the block where you're supposed to criticize the implementation, not criticize this theory. We said that any criticism fall here, any critical analysis fall here for the concept, for the theories. Now, you presented in block number 3 implementation steps. Okay, so in my assignment, I'm proposing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as implementation. And if I do this implementation, I will guarantee, or say the theory guarantees successful resolution. But is this guaranteed really? Is this going to happen? Are you sure that's going to happen? All those questions to reflect on the effort spent so far to critical analyze, to criticize everything, happens here in section number 4. So section number 4, this is where exactly you answer the question. Okay, section number 4 again, Abdullah. This is where you exactly answered the question. So let me give you a simple example. Let's say that somebody asks you a question. Can you please tell me if this concept is useful in my company or not? Let's take an example from a strategy. Let's say Porter 5 Force. Can you confirm that Porter 5 Force is useful to my company? Okay, for those of you who know Porter 5 Force, so Porter 5 Force is a positioning strategy where you want to position yourself in the market. So you analyze the 5 forces in the market and then you give a direction. So according to Porter 5 Force, in order for you to understand the competitive advantage of your company in the industry, you have to address all those 5 forces. Fine. So Porter promises if you study those 5 forces, bam, you've got yourself the best competitive advantage. But is this true? Can I really have a clear one second, please. Yeah, so yeah, for Abdullah. So in this section, you should not criticize the theory. You should not criticize the concept. You should criticize your implementation. So if you have implemented, as the theory says itself, you just implemented in a company. Are you convinced that by the end of this journey, you will reach the desired results? So obviously, you know, there's always room for improvement. The typical answer is no, not really. So any critical analysis, you put it here. Okay. Now, before I hope this is clear, Abdullah. So please feel free to ask me again. But before awaiting some more questions, let me add one more thing. I got a question from the workshop 2 days ago that am I allowed to use the word I, or we, or I feel, or I think in an assignment? And it seems that you've been told that don't do that. Well, I don't precisely agree on that, but let me give you the rationale, and then you know what's the best approach. So basically, in general, you are not allowed to present any piece of information without a reference. So you cannot say, for example, the Qatar is the economy is booming, or the economy is declining. Based on what? Who told you that? You can never say any general statement without a reference. Okay, which means you have to say Fulan said this, Fulan said that, according to New York Times magazine, this is the situation. So you have to refer your work always to a source. Okay, in that angle, there's no room to say I or we or whatever. But when you speak about your own company, you have the right to say I or we or I notice. So for example, in my company, we do everything blah, blah, blah. In my company, I notice there's not motivation, etc. So I and we can be said when you describe a department that you're working for. So why? Simply because this is the only perimeter that you know, and since that's the perimeter you know, so you're eligible to give your opinion. Okay. So again, staying on the slide, this section is entirely referenced. This section has all the theories, all the concepts, all the tools, and they all have to be referenced. And for those who came a bit late, when I say defining theory, I mean they have to follow those 5 questions in order to find concepts. Okay. So block number 2 is about defining all the theories or concepts. Block number 3, you apply the theory as it is, or the concept or tool, you apply as it is. Okay. And finally, your opinion, your criticism, your reflection they all fall here. Okay. Right. Staying on this slide, typically people ask question, how many articles I should put in my assignment? Yeah. Okay. So I'm not going to answer that question. Why? Because I like that you think about it clearly, but let me give you some hints so that you can understand where you are playing around. So if you look at those percentages, 30%, 30%, and 25%. So in a way, more or less, you're talking about somehow equal third. So let's say the assignment, for the sake of argument, is 3,000 words. I'm gonna put here just some wording here. Okay. So we have 3,000 word assignments, and we have 3 sections. The most important one, so block number 2, 3, and 4. This means that roughly speaking, every section is 1,000 words. Yeah. Now, since we have introduction and conclusion, fine. Every section is, let's say, 950 words. Okay, 950 words, or let's say 900 words. Every section. Okay. So that's 2,700 words for the core, and then the 300 words for introduction plus conclusion. Clear? Okay. Now, typically, the rule says the following: any article can be described in 50 to 100 words. This is the rule of thumb. Okay. Now you can consume more than 100. Obviously, you can take 150 to 100, but in average, anywhere between 50 to 100 words. This is your standard way to present an article and discuss it. Okay. So if I have 900 words for this section, and if 50 to 100 words is the amount of words per one article, let's say 100 words. So 900 divided by 100, that's 9 articles. Yeah, which means in a way you are starting from at least 9 articles for this section. Okay, for this section. And if you go to the other limit, which is 50 words, you are talking about 18 articles for that section. So I won't tell you go for 9 or go for 18. I'm just giving you an indication. You guys are smart, so you can figure out what you want to achieve. But this is where you're playing at, so that you can show that you have done a good effort. Now, the thing is that in this section and in this section, it is also expected to have some form of references. Why? Because when you want to present an implementation, you may want to refer back to the chosen concept so that you can put very quickly the reference. And most importantly, in section number 4, when you want to talk about criticism, I mean, you can say that, for example, in this company, Maslow is not useful because the culture is different. However, I think hygiene factors as motivation tool is better. And here you can add the reference of somebody who implemented hygiene in other parts of the world and say, yes, this is why it's more applicable. So it is expected to have some references here, which is fine, but the bulk of your references happen here. Okay. Any question? Hopefully it's clear so far. So that's it on this slide. We spend a lot of time on this slide because it's very core, very crucial. In fact, we'll also come back to it in a minute. You'll see why in a minute, but this is a very important slide. So please feel free to ask any question anytime. So moving on to assignment number 1. So assignment number 1 is a PowerPoint slide presentation. Okay. You are welcome to submit it as .ppt, so PowerPoint, or PDF. Both are fine. Yeah. So let's read it first. Okay, I will read everything and then I will start describing. So imagine you are the head of HR in a company, and that company should be one that you have worked for in the past. Okay, the CEO came to you and asked you, could you please develop a paper this is a question from Khalil. Thank you, Khalil, for the question. He's asking, can we use all motivation theory? So I would like to pause, or let's say not respond to that question, because what I was giving earlier is just examples about concepts, but I think so you will find, Khalil, where you okay. Okay, so the CEO of a company asks you to present a report or a slide, let's say, and this report should have 1 out of the 4 topics. So we have here, as you can see here, 4 topics. You are not supposed to take all 4, just one out of the 4. So go ahead and select whatever you have in mind. Okay, let me put them, yes. Yeah, okay. So what I was saying, Khalil, what I was saying is the following. You are asking, Khalil, should I use any motivation theories? What I was trying to say is that the example of motivation was just hypothetical, which we addressed here in slide number 51, just because we were giving an example. So which theories to use in the assignment? I did not come to assignment yet. Just now I started. So just give me a minute. I will present those questions, and then I will answer questions from different perspective. Okay, Khalil? All right, very good. So you're supposed to select 1 out of those 4 topics. Again, so 1, not all 3, not all 4, just 1. And you're supposed to have 20 minutes in length. Now, assuming that every slide is 1 minute, you can imagine 20 slides. Yeah, 20 slides for this assignment. Now I'm going to start with the first one. The question is as follows: differentiate transformational and transactional leadership, and evaluate how the 2 concepts translate into practical work environment. This is your question, or one option for the question number 1. Okay. Right. Before I say anything, let's apply what we just learned. Let's go back here. We said that first thing we have to do, what is the main theme? What is the target analysis? And how do we travel? That's what we agreed, yeah? So coming back to here, what is the main theme in this question? The main theme is obviously transactional versus transformation leadership. Now you can argue that the main theme is leadership, but that's just very, very high level. You don't have to go that much high. The main theme of this assignment is transactional and transformation leadership. Agree? Tamam. The target analysis is, if you read the question very well, does it actually lead to practical results in work environment? Sometimes the keywords could be implicit, مخفية, or explicit, واضحة. Okay. In this case, the main theme is explicit, transformational and transactional. That's very clear, واضح جدا. While the target analysis is not very clear, it's implicit, مخفية شوي. So what the question is trying to ask you is that how can those concepts translate or bring practical results or practical improvement in the work environment. Okay, before we continue, somebody is asking you, hey, your start point number A or point A is transactional and transformation leadership, and point B is practical work environment. So let's look at it. How do we go from here to there? How do we travel? Obviously, this is where you start. And since you need to implement something along the way in the work environment, so obviously in the start, you should progress on the implementation for those concepts, yeah, and then implement in a company, and then challenge, and then conclude. That's in simple term. Coming back again to this slide, we said that every assignment should have 3 blocks. Block number 1, defining theory. Block number 2, applying the knowledge. Block number 3, challenging questions. Clear? Tamam ya shabab? So we come back here. I'm going to bring back this nice notepad. Let's start, because sometimes I like to write. It's nice for my thoughts. Okay, so we have 3 blocks in the middle, yeah? And block number 1 is about literature review. Clear? Okay. Now, fortunately, in this particular assignment, we have 2 concepts. What does this mean? It means that, first of all, we have 20 slides. If you divide by 3 on the main blocks, more or less, you get 18 slides for the core, plus 1 intro, plus 1 conclusion. Yeah? Make sense? Okay. So this is typically the logical presentation for the assignment. Yeah, 18 slides on the core. That's almost the full package, and you have at least 1 slide for introduction, 1 slide for conclusion. That's fine. Now, since we have 18 slides for the core, and we have 3 blocks in the core, 3 blocks, what does this mean? It means I need 6 slides per block. Make sense, shabab? Yeah? So I need 16 slides per block. 1 second, please. Okay. Yeah. So since I need 16 slide blocks, so sorry, I missed D here. Okay. Sorry, 6 slide, which means 6 for definition, 6 for applying, 6 for criticism or answering the question. Yeah. Type. Coming back here, so we have 3 blocks. The first block is literature review. Let me take this one from here and put it there. Okay. In this case, example number 1, we give, yeah, plus 3 slides for transformational. Make sense, guys? It's very clear. It's not difficult. You can see how it is progressing normally. Okay. Now here, I would want to add literature review definition. What is the meaning of definition? Yes, correct. It is the 5 questions using 5Q that we spoke about. So in this section, you need to present all 5 questions. Tamam? Okay. Now, since we have 2 concepts, transactional and transformational, okay, and since we said we have let me write it here. Block 1, definitions. Block 2, applying knowledge, yeah, and block 3, answering and criticizing. Come. Okay. Now, because you are very smart MBA students, because you are very smart students, you know that you are supposed to later on apply the knowledge. We said 3 slides. Yes, yes. Thank you, Ahmed. I agree. I lost as well. It says to me here that that the audio has gone. Don't worry, Ahmed. I'll repeat. I'll repeat again. So I was saying the following. Let me. By the way, if you think the if you think that the fonts is small, again, please raise your voice and tell me, Samer, we need more clarity. So let me bring this one like this. Okay, so I'm back. Sorry, just to. Okay, let's continue. So, guys, so we said that we have 6 slides per block. Okay, now, and we said that block 1, we agreed that block 1 is academics or definitions. Block 2, applying the knowledge, and block 3, answering the criticizing. Type. Now, when we say applying the knowledge, it means what? It means you want to apply those concepts on a department in your company. You have to apply it somewhere. So you want to apply it on a company or a department, yeah? So because you're smart, you are reverse engineering your assignment. And you said, okay, when I want to define those concepts in the definition, I will also have to present what? Present the implementation plan. As such, what I've written here is the following. In the slide number 1, which is literature review definition, we said that we invest 3 slides on transactional. We also include implementation. What's the meaning of implementation here? It means that if you wish to implement transactional on a company, how would you do it? Now, I know that you cannot answer this question because probably you're still reading the slides. You don't have to right now. It's fine. We can come back to it. But suffice to say is that in that section, which is block number 1, or let's say the second block number 2, according to the outline, but it doesn't matter. The block on definition, this is where you're supposed to have all the wealth of your academics. And since implementation is part of your academic, you put it in block number 1. Is this clear? This is very important. So that's why I said in the first slide 1 or block 1, which is the literature review, using 5Q, as I said, 3 slides on transactional. I also discussed implementation. 3 slides on transformation include implementation. Tamam? Now, the second block of your core is what? Can you remember? It is the applying the knowledge. Yes, thank you. Excellent, Khalil. So second block is apply the knowledge, meaning the following. You have just concluded that this is transactional, this is what's good about transactional, this is what is great, and that's how you implement it. But how can I show you that I've learned new things? So in second block, apply the knowledge, okay? Right, before we continue, remember that we have here 2 concepts or 2 schools of leadership, transactional and transformational. This means what? This means that in this section, you are presenting implementation for this and implementation for that. Meaning what? Meaning in this section, you have to have 2 implementation, which obviously mean 2 departments. Yeah. So 3 slides for implementing transactional in department A, 3 slides for implementing transformational in department B. Make sense? Yeah. Okay. So when I say implementing, remember that here we spoke about we have 6 slides here. We come this one. So introduction 1 slide, definition 6 slides, so that's 7 slides. Slide number 8 is the start of the implementation in department A. Now, let's be a bit clear. Some students sometimes spend 3 slides describing the department, and clearly that's not implementation. So when you don't get the grades, you should not be feeling sad or shocked, because instead of focusing on implementation, you start describing the situation. So what I propose is jump right away based on the previous slide, and this is the implementation. I propose changing the sales department to make it transformational, to use transformation leadership by doing the following step. Step number 1, I will implement a motivational approach to achieve higher by doing this. I will consult with this. So you put a plan for 3 slides. Yeah. And here, welcome back, Ahmed. I don't know how much you missed, but let me know if you missed anything. You can still see my screen, Ahmed. So if you like that, I can come back to some point. Let me know. So here, as we were saying earlier, that we have 3 slides for implementing transactional in department A, 3 slides for implementing. Ahmed, could you please clarify more? When you say block 1 and 2, are you referring to the assignment here discussion, or referring to the previous slide we discussed above this one? So just please the general outline planning. So best if you could please be a bit more specific. In the meantime, let me continue here. Okay. But let me continue, Ahmed, and I'm going to repeat anyway, because obviously this is the core of the assignment. So I'm going to repeat. So let me put the plan. I like to write because then I feel more excited when I write. You have noticed that maybe. So yeah. So we said that 3 slides for implementing transactional, 3 slides for implementing transformation. But if you remember, block number 2 is applying the knowledge as it is. Now the knowledge says if you implement a tool X, you get a result Y. Yeah. That's not giving an opinion. This is exactly as the tool says. So if we implement a tool X, we get result Y, meaning the following. The 3 slides for implementing transaction in department A, actually 2, so I'm going to say here 2 slides, let's say 2 slides for implementing transaction in department A, plus 1 slide for expected results. When I say expected result, again, this is exactly as the theory is promising, not your opinion. Okay, so I'm going to copy this one again. I will come to here. I'll make this one 2 plus 1 slide expected. Okay, is this clear, guys? As you can see, I'm erasing and adjusting because I want to work with you on developing the logic of thinking step by step, so that you know where this all they come from. And my hope is that you appreciate what we're trying to do here, because this is not just for this assignment. I can promise you that if you understand this approach very well, you can get inshallah ya Rab, A bimashiyat Allah azza wa jal. So you just have to understand the logic so they can achieve A grade. Coming back to block number 2. So block number 2 is again about applying the knowledge. Now again, the knowledge, when you put any concept, theory, whatever it is, that's the concept. The concept said do the steps, which is steps number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I will promise you this result. This is again the implementation. I did not give yet my opinion, just the implementation. From that perspective, I just changed block number 2 and saying that 2 slides for implementation, 1 slide for presenting the expected changes that I foresee in that department after I applied that theory. Yeah. Same thing for the second department. So 2 slides for implementing transformational in department play. Then the last slide for result after I applied the second theory. Clear? Okay. And block 3 is what? I'm going to write some questions here. You're welcome to save it or write it. But these are the questions which I ask myself when I'm answering this particular block. And obviously I will read them out. Will we really get those promised results in that particular department? Are there other ways to look at improving practical work environments? Could we consider other approach for leadership for my specific department? Okay. Okay. So those are the typical questions that I ask myself in that block, which is basically the criticism. Yeah. Okay. So so basically that's it. That's your assignment. I'll repeat very quickly the blocks. Obviously, the introduction and conclusion are straightforward. So you know the content. Coming back very quickly on here. This is the introduction, the purpose, content, case, and that's the conclusion. Those are your blocks. Defining theory, applying the knowledge, answer the question. Always remember they carry all more or less equal weight. Coming back to this slide and my writing. So block number 1 is the literature review and all the academics. I do that by 5Q. For those who came late, I think some people came late, so I'll take just 2 minutes coming back to this slide. So this slide is basically about how do we define theories or concepts or tool from an MBA level, from an MBA perspective. So let's say I would like to define transformational leadership. Okay, I cannot say transformational leadership is very good, I love it, I will take a selfie with it. No, that's not an MBA response. We ask ourselves the following: what is the meaning of transformation leadership? Who and where can we use transformation leadership? What are the steps and components of implementing transformation leadership? What is the added value that transformation leadership provide over other approach of leadership? And after implementing leadership, what benefit will I be getting, or what happened after I use transformation leadership? Okay. So back to yes, thank you for the question. So Ahmed is asking about the word limit. I'll come to it in a minute, if I may, because I just want to conclude this section, Ahmed, and I'll answer your question. I will not forget your question, don't worry. So so we said that this block is 6 slides. This block is 6 slides, and this one is 6 slides, and those are the elements. Is this clear enough, guys? Okay, I would like to show you something to give you a bit of fun. This is the folder which I shared with your colleague. As I mentioned, it has thank you, Ahmed. It has some books and articles and etc. Most importantly, you'll find here a folder called sample assignment. In this folder, I'm giving you the following 16 sample assignment. That's a lot, actually. So if you wish to choose the first question, you have 8 different samples. If you wish to choose emotional intelligence, you have 2, etc. And this is for assignment number 2. This is why it's important to have a copy of the content. One more time, for latecomers, I'd like you please that you will send me all an email by tonight. Try to send one email so that I can reply to all, and ask me about the contents. Inshallah, بإذن الله واحد أحد, I will upload all the contents to a server and send you the link. So coming back to question number, the question of Ahmed about the word count. So in word count for this assignment, there's a minimum, but there's no maximum. Meaning the following, you know, assignments are to be graded by myself first, and then it'll be second graded by university. So putting bullet points will not get you grades. Why? Because you have to show that you have spent some time and effort in the analysis. I'd like to show you this assignment, if I may. Maybe this one. One second, please. One. Yeah. So this is one of your colleagues, if you can see here. This is one of your colleagues, and if you go over the assignment, that's assignment number 1 actually. His slide is a bit condensed, and to me, I love that. I very much enjoyed reading his work, and as you can see, he puts a lot of definitions, referencing, in-text referencing, okay, and a lot of debates. He puts some picture every now and then, some comparison. His work was spot on, was fantastic, and so I really enjoyed it. I ask you all to understand that you cannot get high grades based on bullet points. So coming back to Ahmed Mahmoud's question, how many words? Sorry, Ahmed Bakhit. Sorry, how many words should I put? There's no minimum. If you look at those word count in this slide, I think you will find at least 60, 70 words. So you can imagine that you have 60, 70 words minimum per slide. Multiply by 20, you get the maximum number. That's your minimum. You have to show that you have spent some time analyzing. Look at this slide, for example. It is clear that he invested a lot of effort, okay? And this guy has luckily or unhappily gotten an A+ grade, okay? So, and I'm delighted to offer you high grades if you commit as well to such quality of effort, okay? All right, so let's move on to question number 2. Okay, I'll tell you what, we need to make this session more fun. So I see in the chat window we have some active people, and sometimes you are a victim of your own success. So I would ask Ahmed Ibrahim to write to me what is the content, write to me in chat window and I will read it. What is the content of the detailed content of the first block for this question? That's Ahmed Ibrahim, so you can start working on it. Ali Mahmoud will answer the second block, which is applying the knowledge. How do you want to apply the knowledge for this question? So what do you think the content of applying the knowledge? So that was Ali Mahmoud. And who do we also pick? Khalid Abu Sha'ar, yeah, to the critical answer, the last six blocks. Okay, I'll give you 5 to 7 minutes. So Khalid Abu Sha'ar for the last block, Ali. We said Ali, yeah, we said Ali for the second block, yeah, the block in the middle, and yeah, did you say yes? I think you know by now your role, so I'll give you 5 to 7 minutes. So try to think about it. I would like you to apply the same logic we spoke about earlier. To help you, I'm going to copy this question here, as copy, coming back here, and putting the question there. Okay, so that's it. The clock is ticking. Now, whoever gets his block correctly, he will win 1 Cayenne car, Cayenne Turbo, and 2 trips to Malaysia. Let me repeat the wording. So we agreed that Ahmed Ali Mahmoud, block 2. Khalid char block 3. Who else? We spoke about somebody else. Do we remember what? Anyone? Can you write something, guys? Yalla, come on. Any response? Any volunteer? Okay. Thank you, Ahmed. So yes, Ahmed Mahmoud, block number 1. I remember Ahmed Mahmoud, block 1. Come on, guys, it's simple. Yalla. Okay, Mahmoud. So Ahmed, what I'm trying to say is the following. If you look at the slide, this is your question number 2. So Ahmed, you took on which block you said? Ahmed Ibrahim. So I'm trying to just engage you with the answer. I want you to think about it, because you know this is your assignment, so I'd like you to spend some time thinking about it. So basically, 1 second, please. Okay. Yes, so Khalid presented his opinion. Let me rephrase my question. So this is your question, yeah? That's your assignment question. If you choose option number B, which is please briefly explain the concept. Yes, okay, thank you. Thank you, sorry, Khalid. Please briefly explain the concept of cross-cultural management and its relevance in supporting global business operations. This is your question, yeah? So to do this question, you have 3 blocks. First block is defining theory, and that's 6 slides. Second block is applying the knowledge, that's 6 slides. Third block is answer question, that's another 6 slides. So I was going to get you to just engage with me a bit more. In the first 6 slides, I would like to define theory. So let me ask you, let's do it together. What's the main theme of this question? Okay. So Ahmed Mahmoud, okay, let me read what Ahmed Mahmoud wrote. He said, definitions, I have to define cross-cultural management followed by iterated model theory, 2 slide, excellent. What are the business operation, 2 slide, excellent. This is fantastic. But, and thank you for contribution, Ahmed Mahmoud. But let me clarify a bit more. Now, if you look at this question, the main theme in this question is cross-cultural management. That's explicit, واضحة جدا. But the target analysis is a bit implicit. Okay, my reading of this question is the following: the concept of cross-cultural management and its relevance in supporting global business operations. Tamam. When you have global business operations, okay, and you have cross-cultural problems, it affects global business operations. So the target analysis is the impact of cross-cultural management on improving global business operations. So your argument is fantastic, Ahmed Mahmoud, that 2 slides are business operation, but in reality, business operation is not a concept. Okay, the concept behind it is improving operations in the business, or improving operations. That's the best keyword. Okay, but you guessed it right, Ahmed. Okay. So the first block, it's 6 slides. Sorry, yeah, 6 slides. So we present, let's say, 3 slides, 4 slides on cross-cultural management, and the last 2 slides about how to implement those concepts. Now, there's a problem here. Remember, we spoke earlier that you guys are smart students, so you basically need to anticipate that in the second block you will be required to do implementation. Yeah, you will be required to do implementation. So in the cross-cultural management, you have to present a definition for implementation. Yeah, to do that, it means you have to bring cross-culture management tools. I repeat that, cross-culture management tools, which are having a clear implementation steps that promise improvement of global business operations. Okay, so let me write down things. Let's put this one on the side. Let's bring another document. That's another clear one. So we'll take this one from here. That's your question. Okay. Right. So slide 1, introduction. That's normal. Okay. Slide 2 to 7, literature review. Yeah. How do you want to do it? We have 6 slides. Okay. Now remember what we said is about quality, not quantity. Yeah, remember that. And remember we said that the best, the optimum way is to do مثل فيصل قاسم الإرجاء المعاكس. So 2 different opinions. So we need 2 tools. Yeah, we need 2 tools for cross-cultural management, right? Okay. So the way to do that is the following. We have 1 slide for defining in general cross-cultural management. That's 1 slide. 4 slides to define and detail the 2 tools for cross-cultural management. Okay, that's 5 slides. Okay, and here plus expected results. What do you expect to achieve once you have this particular management tool, cross-cultural management tool, implemented? Okay, and here we still have 1 more slide. Now we need to touch base on the second part of the question, which is the supporting global business operation. Okay, so even though we said about main theme is cross-cultural management, but here we said the implicit target analysis is the problem in global business operation. So I would like to say here 1 slide on typical problems when having global cross-cultural problems. Yeah, agree? So if you look at this block, we just defined the main theme, and we defined quickly the target analysis, that if we fail to do cross-cultural management, that's what happened. That's the problem to do it. So how do we solve that? تفضل Mr. Tutor. These are the tools to improve cross-cultural problems or cross-cultural management. And if you apply those tools, you get the following expected results. Clear, guys? Then we go to slide 8 till 16. Yeah, sorry, 14. It's called what? Answering question. Yeah, very good. Type. We have 2 tools. We have 2 departments. We have 6 slides. Is it difficult? Come on. So we have 3 slides implementation for department A and 3 slides implementation for department B. Okay. Now, since the implementation, sorry, yeah, answer the question. Sorry, I made a mistake. I'm terribly sorry. This is implementation here, or applying the knowledge. I'm terribly sorry. Applying the knowledge. Terribly sorry. Okay. So since this section is about presenting the concept as is, and then presenting the expected results, you also put the expected results here. So here in those 3 slides, you say plus expected improvements when in the department suffering from cross-cultural problems. So I'm going to copy this one and put the same thing here. Okay? Clear? صعب شيء؟ سهل يا ما حدا يقول شيء. All right? So that's the second block, applying the knowledge. Notice I'm not giving an opinion. I'm not challenging. I'm not arguing yes, no, good, no, no. Then we go slide 15 to 19. That's where you answer the question. Okay. So 3 slides. Wait. Now we need to answer the question. I'll bring. Where's my mouse? My mouse is gone. I'll bring those questions here. Copy. So I ask myself all those questions. These are the questions which I ask myself in this block. Yeah, which means I have 6 slides in that perspective. For example, this is, by the way, this block is very subjective, so you're welcome to do it the way you want. I'm going to propose something. You may or may not follow it, but just an approach to answer that block. So 1 slide, expected problems in لحظة شوي. Yeah, in department A, which could not help achieving desired results. Same thing here. Okay, has 2 slides, and then 4 more slides. We put critical situation of the department and how best to analyze cross-cultural problems in those 2 departments. Right. Notice, guys, something very important. In this section, I am not criticizing the concepts. I am not criticizing the tools. I'm only criticizing the current situation of this company and why I will not get the desired result. So the last block is not a general criticism about the concept. No, it is a criticism only on the implementation. Is this clear? And then obviously 1 slide conclusion. وكان الله يحب المحسنين. تمام guys? Is this clear? Okay. I'll take your silence as a yes. All right. طيب, let's have some more fun. I'm going to minimize this one. This time you must engage. So I'm going to put this one here. That's the 3rd option. Okay. Ahmed Mahmoud for block 1. Yalla Ahmed, start working. Khalil Abu Sha'ar, block 2. You guys are the victim of your success. and Ahmed Ibrahim, block 3. Yeah, I'll give you 5 minutes. This is water, huh? Don't worry. Come on, guys. Yeah, that's not difficult. Okay, so can I continue, or will I expect something from your side? Khalil Abu Sha'ar, thank you, responded. So according to Khalil, so this is what we have here. And Ahmed Mahmoud also thankfully gave me this one. Thank you for the contribution. Okay. Okay. So let's look at Ahmed Mahmoud, sorry. Yes, Khalil. So you have to have 6 slides, correct. Block number 1 slide for defining cross-culture. Wait. I think you gave me the old. Yeah, you gave me the old assignment, Ahmed, because we have a new assignment here. So please provide an overview about emotion leadership and how it impacts cross-cultural cooperation. That's your assignment. Okay. So you spoke about cross-cultural management. I don't think this is needed here. Yeah. Okay, let's remove this one for now. So we have 1 slide emotional leadership, 2 slides for problem relation topics, followed by expected result. Very good. So in principle, yes, your work is good. Block number 1 is always having 6 slides. Yeah. So by the way, let's take it one step before. The main theme is, as you guessed it, emotional leadership. Okay. So Ahmed Ibrahim came back with an answer. Thank you very much. I will come to it, Ahmed, in a minute. Let's start. So we all know by now that the main theme is emotional leadership, but target analysis is what's here. Let's read. So please provide an overview about emotional leadership and how it impacts on cross-cultural cooperation. Type Jamil. Again, here in this case, the target analysis is implicit, مش واضحة كتير. لأنه how can typical leadership impact cross-cultural cooperation, it means that there is currently weak or unavailable cross-cultural cooperation, and can emotional leadership come and fix that? So the target analysis would be improving cross-cultural problems, okay, or challenges, whatever. Tamam? So Ahmed gave us this block, thankfully. So we have 6 slides. I'm going to put here 2 slides on emotional leadership. Yeah, but you know, we only have here cross-cultural operation. Okay, so let me propose to you what I think is best. How I'm going to see 3 slides. Okay, let's keep it 2 slides emotional leadership plus 1 slide implementation. Yeah, you always present that. Let's put them in list format better. To 2 slide emotional leadership, 1 slide implementation. Yeah. One second, please. I'm gonna take this one. 1 slide expected result. That's 4 slides. Okay. And we have the other part of the story is cross-cultural cooperation. So we come back here. We said 1 slide cross-cultural challenges. Okay. That's 5 slides. Yeah. Okay. I think that's it. Let me remove this one. I'm going to keep it like this, 2 and 1 and 1. Why? I'd like you to think about it and tell me, Samuel, okay, you know what? In implementation, I'm going to need 1 extra slide. In here, I need extra slide. Fine, do what you want. But now you know the concept. Now you know the approach. So there has to be some differentiation here. I can also put, if you want, 1 here. These are the blocks, or these are the sub blocks. How you want to distribute the 6 slides? It's up to you. It's your game. It's your approach. It's your wealth that you bring on the table. Okay. So these are the blocks for block number or sub blocks. Khalil Abu Shahar thankfully gave us the block number 2. So we said this block is about applying the knowledge. Okay. So Khalil was asking, will impact cross-cultural operation if data is understanding? Yes, this is correct, 100%. But in this block, Khalil, we were supposed to discuss the implementation that you wish to do on in your organization. So I'm going to remove that and say the following. Now, coming back to our good friend Faisal Qasim and having to have الرأي ورأي الآخر. تمام؟ الاتجاه المعاكس. We have one concept here, which is emotional intelligence. And emotional intelligence, basically, it has one approach to implement it. It's there in my main slide, by the way. So we have one tool, but in order to show that you are good at implementation, you have to have at least 2 departments. Yeah, makes sense? So I'm going to say 2 slides for implementing EI, emotional intelligence, in department A plus expected results, and 2 slides. Okay, right. I think that's about it. So perhaps let me see something here. If we say 3 and 3, is this enough? Is this good enough? Okay, that's good. So I think that's enough. That's very good. So we can have this section, the distribution for this section. Okay. And Ahmed Ibrahim came forward with block number 3, which is the answering the question. Okay. Okay. Those are excellent questions. I'm going to keep it like this. Okay. Okay. Expect on and how to address those problems using potentially different leadership style. Okay, if possible. تمام. تمام شباب? Is it clear? So this will detail and put the steps for assignment number 3. I'd like to take a small pause here before progressing, and I would like to share with you something. First of all, thank you for all the people who contributed, and thank you for all the other people. I'm sure that you guys are good. I just didn't see your name to ask you for some support, but there's something that happened here in this slides, which I was waiting until we test it, and then we can discuss it. Have you all noticed, especially those people, Ahmed Mahmoud, Khalil Abu Sha'ar, Ahmed Ibrahim, have you noticed that you are now capable of thinking about an outline for an assignment without knowing the topics? Yeah? You don't have to know what is emotional leadership. You don't have to know what is transformation leadership. You can think about a plan, a journey, a logic of thinking, a journey that takes you from point A to point B without even knowing the topics. And your outline is fantastically positioned so that the reader see a progression of thoughts. Now, it's going to take you what? Reading 4, 5, 7 articles to plug in the beef in the skeleton? Fine. But instead of starting from nowhere and what is my first slide, what is my second slide, you know exactly beforehand what you want to write, and most importantly, you know the end path. You know where you want to end. This is where I'm going to head. So this is my approach, and I'm confident that that's my journey. So I don't have to know the topic. I can learn the topic. It's very easy. So coming back to this slide, guys, this slide is fantastic. Why? Because it gives you a view that that this is the journey, and you don't have to be the smartest person on earth. You can quickly dissect an assignment question, build an outline, and then next time you start reading articles, you're not reading to understand what the topic is and then try to find out how to answer the question. You know exactly how to answer it, and then reading articles is a matter of filling in what the beef, filling the beef on the skeleton. Yeah. So I'm gonna do slide. We don't have much time left. I will do myself the last section. So slide number or question number 4 is the following. Please differentiate. Thank you guys for your response. Please differentiate existing conflict style and how they are applied in different cultural environments. Okay, let me copy this one here and paste it there. And let's do like this. Okay. Now, in this assignment, both the main theme and the target are a bit implicit. When somebody says, please differentiate existing conflict style, it's not clear what's the meaning of conflict style or conflict in what. But then when we read the question a bit more, it says how they are applied in different cultural environments. So then the conflict is meant to culture. So the question should have been written, please differentiate existing cultural conflict style. Cultural conflict style, that's your main theme. And how they are applied in different cultural environments. Who is applied? When you are applying, it means you are applying fixes, approach, steps, plans to improve the conflict of culture. So your starting point is the current conflict approach. Your end point, how you improve cultural environments. Okay. So obviously, the first 6 slides will be spent on cultural conflicts and how cultural conflicts arise in a company and what are the steps of implementing. That's block number 1. Let me write quickly. Let's bring another Mr. Notepad. Okay, so we take this one here. We delete this one. We bring this one. All right, that's your question. Block 1. I will not detail it. I will just write quickly block 1. What are the typical cultural conflict styles. Okay, and what are the tools to implement that? Obviously, here we present two tools. Block 2, implementing both tools on two separate departments and presenting the results. Block 3, will the cultural conflict improve in those particular two departments or not, and why, and how to improve that. That's it. Okay, clear shabab? Okay, so assuming, okay, very good, thank you. We have 15 more minutes or 40 minutes. I'd like to take you to this slide. We didn't cover it. I'll tell you why. You know, in your assignment, you're supposed to bring concepts and tools, etc. And sometimes you wish to have some form of you know, extra articles quickly. So I'm proposing those sources to get some more information. Of all those sources, I like this one the best, valuebasedmanagement.net. It has interesting summaries of any MBA concepts. Now, I'd like to stop here and give you a nice hint on something very important. Now, in your assignment, by the way, this is applicable to assignment 1 and assignment 2. Let's say you want to study, you want to find resources that speak about actual market situation. So let's say cultural conflict in Qatari organization. Okay, tamam. Now, typically when you hit enter, you get all the potential garbage on the internet. Some are good, some are bad. What I'm proposing is that there's a small trick in Google where you can find something which is useful, which is not, by the way, Google Scholar. I don't like Google Scholar because it's a waste of time. So what I'm proposing is to do the following. You write file type PDF, okay? And then you press enter. I will press enter in a minute, but let me ask you a question. Can you guess who writes market studies like this one and drop them on the internet as PDF? Can you guess? I'll repeat my question. Who typically writes or researches market studies about special countries, special departments, special companies, and put them at PDF on the internet? Ahmed said academic articles, maybe, but more precisely, it could be a research organization, marketing people, maybe. Thank you, Khalil. Could be marketing people, but sometimes it could be research agencies, it could be banks, it could be governments. And guess what? All these agencies are fantastic sources to find your results. Let's see what happened here. Okay, what's this, guys? EDU, that's an universities. Let's move on. AC UK, universities. Organization, that's global organization. UNESCO, wow, guys, you're too lucky. You have an UNESCO link about this approach. What else? Organization again. That's an education. Stanford. Whoa, Stanford has researched Qatar's situation. What else? So by forcing Google to get you the file type PDF, you have received fantastic. By the way, that's one page. Yeah, if you look, you have plenty of matches. By forcing people to add PDF, you have forced Google to capture only articles. Why? Because your search string is something which typically agencies, researchers will do. For example, if I typically do this on different topics, sometimes I swear I find Reuters, I find banks. By the way, once I researched a company like called STC in KSA, I found banks talking about it. So all these are fantastic, genuine sources and trustable sources that you could use in your assignment. Okay. Now, let me be a bit more. Let's have some more fun. Let's say in this course you don't know what transformational or let's say transactional leadership is really about. Okay, let's say you don't know what this concept is about. Okay, and you don't have time to search on the internet for a number of time. You just want quickly the result in PowerPoint slide. So if you force Google to PPT, before I hit enter, another question: who writes PowerPoint and drop it on the internet? Ahmed Bakhit. I'll give you a hint. Yes, excellent, excellent. Thank you, Ahmed. Yes, Khalil Abu Sha'ar, excellent. Universities are the one who write presentation and post it on the internet for their students. So if you look here, edu, Wikispace, edu, etc. So you just got yourself a long list of universities describing this concept. So if you cannot understand what any concept you have in mind is about, and you don't want to waste time reading too much articles or books or definition, blah, 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 you just want quick bullet points about concept, you just do file type PDF. Now, sometimes you could be a bit more greedy. You could add site harvard.edu, meaning what? Meaning you are forcing Google, get me whatever has been written in Harvard on transaction leadership in form of PowerPoint slide. So obviously all the matches will be from Harvard. In this case, by the way, you have only 3, as you can see. Those are advertisements. So this keyword, these two words appeared only 3 times in the whole of Harvard, which means those are fantastic slides. Yeah. So forcing Google for a file type and site will get you something from one side. But most importantly, if you move to this one, as we saw earlier, you get fantastic links. You could take this one, I don't know, let's say activity-based costing, that's from finance, let's say. Okay, and there you go. You'll find plenty of match, you name it. Whatever you have in mind, just put PowerPoint. And if we go back to what you did earlier, this example here, trust me, this is a fantastic approach to gather any market data, which typically you cannot find, you cannot reference. So now, don't come back to me telling me, you know, someone I cannot find reference for this and this. You can find, my friend. All you have to do, try this trick, and I'm sure Google will try to get you much as possible. And believe me when I say sometimes, you'll find reference from KPMG, PwC, fantastic agencies, which are giving you resources that you can refer. What's more importantly, that those articles are typically very recent. So it's not like when you read a book done 10 years ago. This is something which is currently today when you search for it. So so this is how you can get some information about you know, actual market analysis. I think we've reached the almost the last of our session. We have 6 more minutes. I'll open the floor for a question. Let me go back to the slides. Before you, I mean, go ahead and please ask your question, but very quickly, as we spoke earlier. Yes, Abdullah Khalfan, by the way, don't call me any names, just Samer. I don't like titles. I'm a brother like you. So I'll be honored if you told me Samer. Call me Samer right away. So can you reference PowerPoints? The answer is yes, you can. Typically, you can reference any article on the internet. If it has author name, fantastic. If it doesn't, that's fine. If it's coming from university, it's fantastic. So you can put in the author name You can put the university of name, for example, Oklahoma State University, London Business School, 2017. That's fantastic. You can do that. But try to avoid referencing slides from Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn or WhatsApp, because it's a bit unacceptable. So if the website is trustable, yes, by all means you can do that. You're welcome. So any more questions, guys? Okay. By the way, if you look at slide number 55, the next one, yeah, forget it. It's okay. It's not important. Okay, that's what the most important one. Okay, can I refer to this? I think so. I think this question should be addressed to our colleague Manenda. I think yes, but I'm not sure. Let me see if he can respond. Hold on, please. Once again, questions. So Ahmed Mahmoud, I took your question. I sent it to Stafford. Inshallah, as soon as they respond to me, as he respond to me, I'll come back to you. Okay. Inshallah, he will respond in a minute. As soon as I get the response, I'll come back to you, Ahmed. Okay. With pleasure. Any other questions, gentlemen? Yes, Maninder just confirmed you can access the recording of this session. So Maninder, I think you're listening to me. If you would kindly share with our colleague later on the link for downloading and listening to the session, it will be great. Okay. Yes. So he confirmed that he will inshallah send you soon the link. Any other questions, gentlemen? Wayakum inshallah. Okay, let me take the last minute before you close. Let me show you something. So this is my email, gentlemen, at gmail.com, and this is my mobile number. So feel free to contact me anytime. Okay. Okay, so that's my contact. You can call me anytime. Thank you. I'm proposing something. If you feel that, by the way, I'm available on WhatsApp. So, but if my boss is standing next to me, so obviously I cannot respond. And when I say boss, I mean both the boss at house and the boss at work. We all have two bosses. So if my boss is around me, I cannot answer to your question. But other than that, I'm gladly available to respond to your question as fast as possible. Feel free to contact me anytime. And if there's, I don't know if there's any more question. I hope you enjoyed this session, and most importantly, the slides. Was my pleasure, Abdullah. I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you. You're welcome, Ali. As I said, as I agreed that tonight, please, this is my email. Send me all an email. It is appreciated if you all send me one email with all your emails, so that when I hit reply to all, the link will land on everyone, so that you can download that link. Inshallah, I'll do my best to upload the content between tonight and tomorrow, and send you the link. And inshallah, you will access this link and download the contents, the slides, and the samples, and many other stuff are in that content, which I'm happily available to share. And once again, I hope you enjoyed it. So inshallah, we'll see you next week. Inshallah, yes, I look forward. Thank you, Ahmed Mahmoud. I look forward to our next session. And I'd like to thank Manindra for his support and patience, sitting there quietly. So thank you, Manindra, for the effort. Well, Abdullah, to be honest, Abdullah, he's asking, Abdullah, should we read all the Nile contents? I'm going to be a bit harsh on you. You should read a lot more than the Nile contents, because to understand the concepts, you need to put a lot more stuff, and the contents of the Nile is not enough. In fact, one of the things which I shared with you, which I will be sharing with you, is one folder called extra content or extra reading material. If you look here, some readings, you have 100 articles. Those are the articles which I have read just around the topic of leadership. Okay, this excludes the books on leadership which are also available here. So there are also leadership books here. So the slides are not enough, Abdullah. If you want to read more, if you want to improve your knowledge, the more you read, the better. Okay, Ali, the next section is next week. I think it's next Monday or Tuesday. So Maninder also will send you an email about the invitation and everything. So inshallah, you will get it from Maninder. Maninder, gentleman Ali is asking about the next session. So in case you have not forwarded to them, yeah, it's 14th of November. So you will get the invitation from Maninder soon, inshallah. Okay. Any other questions, gentlemen, before we close? All right. So thank you all. شرفنا معرفتكم جميعا وشكرا لوقتكم. بعتذر على الوقت المؤخر. ان شاء الله نكون سعدنا بلقائكم، ان شاء الله تكونوا انبسطتوا، وعلى امل لقائكم الاسبوع الجاي. انا حلمي اني اعطيكم كلكم A ولا A+. ساعدوني، اشتغلوا منيح على الاساينمنت. start planning for it please from day one. وان شاء الله يا رب بتكونوا انتم من الناجحين متفوقين بهالكورس وبكل المواد الباقيه ان شاء الله. شكرا جميعا، شكرا جزيلا جميعا، وتصبحوا على خير. بامان الله. السلام عليكم.